Hello, everybody. Hello. Welcome to episode 8 of The Turning Point. And now that it's not just me tonight, it is also Aaron as a separate co host.
Hey, everybody.
Job. Yes, say hi. Yeah, sorry.
Hi, everyone. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, Aaron has been an amazing help throughout the whole show. And we're just thinking, like, why doesn't she just come on to the show at the very beginning and be a part of all this excitement, right? Yeah. So the one thing I want to ask the audience is, if you guys are new, please put a number 1 in the chat. And if you are a reoccurring fan and if you've watched an episode before, put a number 2. And I just want to see for reference, like, who's out there and like see if you guys are coming back. And like, I just want to say hi to everybody, especially. Cool. Cool. Yes. I see Doug in the chat. Doug is next. Awesome.
We got a couple of twos.
Yeah, number 2s. Craig, nice to see you. Nice to see you again. I'm just waiting for the delay. There's a little bit of delay between when we see. Oh yes, a 3.
Ooh, a 3. I like that. A different option. I like thinking outside the box. I like that.
Emily, nice to see you back. Number 3, yeah, that's awesome.
That's good.
And guys, Doug's gonna announce something a little bit later about sharing this show, a little bit of a contest. But if you guys could share right now, that would be amazing. If you care, you share. Awesome. Okay. And you never know who you might help. So to get right, I see everyone coming in. Yes, step forward. Awesome, guys.
Excellent. Welcome back, everybody. That's excellent. Thank you for continuing to join us on Thursday evenings.
Yes. So again, my name is Tyson. I'm your co-MC. And then Aaron's gonna be your other MC for tonight's show. And welcome to The Turning Point. I want to introduce you. If you guys are new here, I want to introduce you to Doug Dane. And Doug Dane started out his life with abuse, and now has turned into abundance. But now with this show, he's on a mission to show others how he can do the same. How you can do the same. Doug and I created the show because he went from wanted a platform to reach a lot of people and help them get unstuck fast. Doug discovered that the turning point can happen very fast for you, and it's actually quite simple. Doug spent years trying to figure out how to get ahead, and it was really hard, and it took him a long time. It doesn't have to be the way for you. There's a better way. Tonight could be your turning point, and I'm super excited for episode 8. So let's invite Doug onto the show.
You guys are cute.
You look so comfortable.
I am. You know what? I thought, hey, it's my freaking show. I can sit wherever I want and set up wherever I want. So that I had the fire on here today. I was working from the living room. I got a beautiful view out back here in the daytime. It's trees and snow. I thought, you know what? I'm gonna sit here and do the show. So here I am. Good to see you. Thanks for setting this up, Tyson and Aaron. You guys are funny. I'm watching you on my phone while I'm in the backstage here. Anyway, you guys are cute. So thanks for getting us going here. I appreciate it.
Yeah, anytime.
Well, listen, as Tyson said, and if you're watching the replay too, let us know. Put a 1 in the comments while you're watching the replay. If you're new to the show for the first time, if you're a fan of the show and you're coming back, type in a 2. We'd love to just know who's coming and who's watching. So really appreciate that. And Tyson mentioned too, this notion of if you care, share, or share if you care. I'm getting all kinds of great feedback on the show. And more importantly, what we're hearing is how, something that, I might say, or something that somebody else might say, that I'm talking to on the show, and it's causing a turning point. And when I did that, when I created the show, Turning Point, I really wanted to quickly change people's minds, because we're so locked into the way that we're living and the way society is running these days. Like, we are just like zombies and robots and following these paths that don't work. And so I want to wake people up get you to look in a different direction, create a turning point. And so we're getting feedback. People go, oh my gosh, like the show really, made a big difference. I was talking to somebody last week, and then I got a beautiful email from them and just commenting on, they had watched a couple previous shows. One last week with my friend Jay was on, and the title of the show was What's on God's Mind, and got a lot of feedback coming in for that. So messages and emails and things like that. So thank you for the feedback, number one. But number two, most importantly, it's making a difference. So share the show. Click the share button right now on your phone. There's a share button right there. Just tap share right now, and get this out there, because you never know how this might help somebody. So again, I want to thank you for tuning in. For those of you that are coming back every single week, I really appreciate this. But this show's not for me. It's not about me. It's really about you, or people that you know and that you care about. So tonight's show is called Distortion. And I was talking to somebody last week, as I mentioned, and it was a story from my past. And as we got into this conversation, the word came out of my mouth. I said, man, oh man, I had a real distorted view on life. I had a real distorted view on relationships. I had a real distorted view on what it was to be a man, to be a father, a very distorted view on what moms and dads, look like, and what that relationship is supposed to look like. I mean, my whole life was filled with distortion. You may not know me. I'm not going to every show get into, the whole story, but needless to say, I grew up with a very distorted point of view in so many different areas of my life. And I carried that distortion forward, and that distortion just created more distortion. And so, if you just think from a mindset perspective, we operate on frequencies. Our mind operates on frequencies. Marconi, who invented the radio, he figured out how to transfer the sound of your voice through the ether wirelessly. And they locked him up when he said he could do it. But he discovered that we can transmit information, and we also communicate through our intuition on these frequencies. Our cell phones work on frequencies. And so I think a lot of people, I hope you tune in to what I'm saying tonight, and tune in to the show, because what I'm trying to do is clear the distortion and clear up, all the mess that's out there, and get people just seeing things in a different way and thinking things in a different way. There's so much distortion out there, man. It's noisy. These phones, they're amazing devices, but man, oh man, there's times I get on social media and I feel so bad for people. Now, Sunday, I threw my phone on the sofa. I said, that's it. I'm getting off social media. Unfortunately, the problem is that that's where everybody is. That's where the audience is. And so I'm stuck on social media as it relates to, communicating with you and broadcasting with you. And that's fine. So it's got usefulness. But the news, social media, there's so much misinformation coming at us. I was talking to a lawyer friend of mine. He works in an organization where they help young kids, and they support them through the court system. So if they've been a victim of child abuse, or witness child abuse, or have to testify in a case of child abuse, they support the family and the kids through that process. And he's saying, Doug, I'll tell you, he said, it's so distorted out there because there's so much misinformation, and we all have our biases. We all have these viewpoints because of our own distortion. And then we hear something, if it lines up with us and what we believe, whether it's true or not, it just perpetuates. And so it's there's a lot of distortion. You picked up distortion when you were young. When you were young, your parents were saying and doing things and telling you what to do and what was right and what was wrong. And like me and many of you, whether you want to admit it or not, or whether you blocked it out like I did, or whether you're prepared to talk about it, but you experienced a lot of distortion. And so what you try to do is you try to tune them out, but you couldn't, because you were young, you your experiences weren't there yet. You lacked confidence. Many young kids grow up with a very strong inferiority complex because they were just criticized the early part of their life. You just didn't have the power to, step up and say, wait a minute. And you tried, but then, you just got kind of knocked back down again. In my case, I got literally knocked back down. And then I started knocking myself down and tearing myself down. And so that comes at us. You were programmed when you were little. You were programmed with all this virus code. And the people that were programming you didn't know what the hell they were doing. Now, it's not their fault because the people that programmed them didn't know what the hell they were doing, and it just perpetuates. And whether that's the parents in your life, other adults in your life, teachers, et cetera, et cetera. And so you got this distorted view also based on how you were educated and what you were taught. What I love that's going on right now with this pandemic is the educational system is changing. I've got my daughter here, Eden. She's been here for this week, and she's here for another week, and so she's working, doing her school from home. And I'm hopeful that the education system changes. We were out for a walk the other night, and I was asking her because she's in grade 12. She's finishing a difficult year with the school that she's in. She's got lots of pressure. She's got teachers coming at her from all angles. Pressure with deadlines and projects and da 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 da. We were walking and talking through the forest, and I wanted to hear what her perspective was on it. And there's some real distortion that she's dealing with and facing. And when you're young, when you're unsure of yourself, the adults can really push that onto you. So I want to talk to you about this idea of distortion tonight. And for me, thinking about this conversation I had last week, I witnessed some pretty bizarre things when I was young. I think of some of the things that I saw my dad do to my mom. I think of some of the things that my mom did to my dad, my mom did to us. Some of the things that my mom would do when my friends were over. It was bizarre. It was embarrassing. It was filled with shame. And so today I want to talk to you about distortion. We've got a number of questions that people sent in. So I just want to before we keep going here, I want to just remind you of how you can interact on the show. So obviously we've got Aaron and Tyson. They're keeping an eye on your comments on YouTube. I can't watch it there, but we can see it come on the screen sometimes. And so if you have a question or you got a comment or you want to argue, this is your opportunity to ask questions. The whole show is about for you to ask questions and get help. It's not about me talking. It's about me helping you. So type comments in there. If you want to be anonymous, then there's a link that we've dropped or we will drop right now. And you can click on that link. That'll get you backstage. And when you're asked to join, ask you to put in a name, and you can just put any name that you want. Okay, be whoever you want to be tonight. And so you just type in any name, and you'll get backstage, and you'll be able to chat back and forth with Aaron. You can leave your camera off. All you need is your mic on if you want to verbally announce your question, or if you just want to type it, just leave your camera off, leave your mic off, type in your question. Aaron and Tyson will pick it up, and we'll get your question answered that way. If you want to come on the show with me and ask me questions live, then you can do that too. You can come on with me on camera and a microphone, or again, if you want to just do mic only. I was texting a friend of mine. I said, do you want to come on the show tonight? And she said, well, no, I'm just jumping in my pajamas. I said, well, you can still come on. You don't have to be on camera. So you can come on, again, just you can leave your camera off and put a different name in and be anonymous that way. So we want to make it really easy for you to get on here and ask questions and where it's, it's safe and anonymous. You don't have to worry about anybody knowing who you are, because sometimes people are at that stage and that's what they need to do. So just click that link. That'll bring you backstage. And again, you can type in information, give your question, or you can talk to Aaron. Or I guess you can't talk, can you, Tyson? No, you can just chat verbally. Is that right?
Yeah, you can just chat. There's a private chat that's there.
Right. Yeah. You can't talk to Tyson, or you can just chat with him. But if we bring you on and you want to come on, you can just do camera off, mic only, or camera and mic on, and you can come on the show with me live. So, well, let's let's get into some questions.
Yeah.
Let's start with that, and we'll see what other questions. We'll do the ones that were submitted first. Start with those, and then we'll see if anybody hops on and joins in here.
Yeah, and this one's super relevant for today because it's about Let's Talk.
Yeah.
So this one's Lori from Toronto. I'm gonna put it on the screen right now.
Okay.
So how do you feel about all the attention given to Bell Let's Talk Day to support mental health?
Well, so Bell Let's Talk Day is in Canada here. And so Bell is a cell phone company. And so for a number of years, they started this a while back. They have Let's Talk Day, and they donate money for every text message I think you send or phone call you make or something like that, which is fantastic. And they donate the money. I'm not sure exactly where it goes anymore, but it's dedicated and committed to supporting mental health in Canada. And so I'm a big believer in talking. I think this notion of let's talk is a great idea. I think one of the biggest problems we've got is we're keeping way too many secrets, and secrets make you sick. That's the title of an upcoming show, actually. Secrets keep you sick. I've got a friend of mine coming on, and he's been sick, emotionally and physically for a long time because of the secrets that he's been keeping. And so I think talking is important. My own pet peeve with this whole thing is there's way too much attention being put on mental health awareness. Yes, we have mental health issues. Is it increasing? Maybe just the awareness around mental health is increasing. I mean, when I was really researching and doing public speaking keynotes around my story and abuse, I was checking the statistics, and the statistics weren't really moving all that much. They were running about 50% for men and 60% for women. So maybe there's, and I don't have the stats. I mean, I'm not speaking from fact, I'm just speaking from opinion, but I think there's just way too much attention being given to mental health, almost to the degree where people are uncertain if they have a mental health problem. And so I give kudos to Bell for funding and supporting, but our system that we've got right now for supporting mental health, it's broken. It's been broken for a long time, and it ain't fixing the problem. They're going after the effect and not the cause. And so the effect is people have anxiety, they have depression, they have PTSD, they have ADHD, they have all these symptoms and problems, and nobody's going after the root cause. The root cause is really what's going on inside. The root cause is how you see yourself. The root cause is how you judge yourself. Your root cause is how you react to a situation. Your reaction to a situation is all based on, again, this programming, this distortion that you've got inside. So I talked to a lot of people about mental health and about their own mental health. And anybody that watched the show a couple of weeks ago, we had Nuray on from Australia. Amazing show. She sent me, Tyson, I don't know, I didn't tell you, but she sent me a couple of video messages. She was in her car and said it on Instagram. She's still blown away how amazing she's doing. So here's a young lady, 30 years old or so, sexually assaulted when she was young and struggled with PTSD and anxiety, depression, all kinds of problems for a long, long time, over 20 years. And within 15 minutes of a conversation with me, all I got her to do was to see the situation differently. I just changed her perception, and I changed her perception on her. And so she was living with all this distortion because she didn't feel good about herself, because she believed stuff about her that wasn't true. She believed stuff that her family and her culture and her friends and people around her reacted a certain way. And she just took all that in, and that really got her stuck. So I think if we're going to keep talking, we got to stop talking and we got to start freaking doing. That's what we got to do. We got to go after the root cause. And that's what I'm on. I'm on a mission to get people to really understand why they're struggling. Because most people, not everybody, some people need drugs, some people need therapy, some people need, certain things. But what people really need to do is take a look inside and figure out who the hell you really are and what you're really capable of. Because if you really understand who you are a spiritual being. You are a soul. You were created in God's image. You're absolutely perfect. I mean, if you just think about how this thing works, it works with absolute perfection. And the laws of nature work in absolute perfection. And so we must be perfect by law. But we got this distorted view of who and what we are and who and what we're not. And that's got to change. What else you got, Tyson?
Oh, yeah. So we actually have another question. We actually have someone in the chat. We're just, we're going to bring them on really quickly. Before we actually get to that, actually, we're just going to go to another question while Erin just asks her what her question is, if she wants to come on the show.
Yeah, give me another question.
Awesome. So here we go. Catherine from Washington. So I'm frustrated with my parents and how they treat me around my mental health, and I don't know how to get them off my back. What do you think?
I love that question.
Yeah.
You know, I was talking to, on the weekend, I was talking to a young person, and I was asking them, I said, I want to ask you 2 questions. You might have met her. She was on a show before. I'm going to introduce her into my Facebook group, Doug Dane Live, and she is going to be this youth mentor. She's going to be there to support young people, but she's also going to be there to support parents with young people. Anyway, I said to her, listen, let me ask you a question. What do you want adults to know or parents to know about young people that could help them become better parents? And I said, and what do you as a young person, what do you want to tell the adults? What do you want to tell the parents out there? And man, oh man, you know, I just loved her answer. She said, you know, I am an expert on how I'm feeling. I'm an expert on how I'm feeling. And I thought, man, oh man, that is so good, you know? And then she said, I'm curious what your daughter will think. So I got my daughter on the line, and the 3 of us were chatting, and, you know, they basically all said the same thing. So a couple of things that came out of that conversation. One is, it's okay if I'm depressed. It's okay if I'm feeling anxious. You don't need to come up and check on me every day. How you doing? Are you okay? Is everything all right? You know, just, it's okay to feel the way I feel. And I love that. Listen, the one thing I was taught when I was first going through the therapy around my abuse and this abuse story came out, I called them the Sarah days. Sarah McLachlan, Canadian songwriter. They were the Sarah days. And so, you know, I was going through a lot of emotions, and my counselor said to me, she said, Doug, just go through the emotions, just feel them. And she said, let them just pass through you. Don't try to control them. Don't hold them back. You know, don't do anything with them. Don't judge yourself because of them. So I would sit on a Friday night, I'd get a bottle of wine, I'd order a pizza, I'd light some candles, I'd turn on Sarah McLachlan, I'd sit there, and, you know, my emotions would pour out. We call them the Sarah days. And so young people said, just let me feel the way I want to feel. There's nothing wrong with having negative feelings. What's wrong with negative feelings is that we think that there's something wrong. That's why there's all this awareness around mental health. Like, what's wrong? Are you okay? You don't need to do that. The other thing they said was, you know, just stop nagging me. Treat me like an adult. Treat me like an equal, and have a conversation with me, and stop trying to fix me. And I think that's just a great answer. And so, Catherine, what I would say to you is, I'd say, you know, sit down and talk to parents. Listen, if you're, and I don't know how old you are, but if you want to talk to me, then we're going to talk like adults. And you need to say, if you want to be treated like an adult, like I always say that to my daughter, if you want to be treated like an adult, then you got to communicate like an adult. So we have these really wonderful conversations now, because I speak to her. I thought to myself, imagine if I talked to my friends the way I was talking to my kid. My friends wouldn't freaking talk to me. So why the hell would I treat my kid any differently, you know? And so I think that's really essential. You sit down and have a chat and they go, listen, and you tell them what you need, you know? I learned a long time ago, early on when I first became a father, and I made a decision that I decided I'm just going to try to figure out who this kid is and help her become that person. And that is it. So, Yeah, I think it starts with a conversation, starts with a good communication, no emotions. Get the emotions out of it. Your emotions rule your thinking. Your emotions rule your talking. Your emotions run your arguments. Our emotions are running our lives. That is not a good way to live. So that's probably where I'd start. If you need more help, Catherine, just reach out to me and we can have a conversation.
Awesome, Doug. That was a great answer. I love that.
Well, you're a young person. You can relate.
I can relate to that. Yes.
Some of the adults, the parents are going, what the hell is he talking? He doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. I'd probably piss some parents off with that answer, but that's okay.
That's awesome. So in the room right now, we have Heather that you asked to come on. I was wondering if you wanted to come on and share her story.
Totally. I love that.
Yeah? Okay. Yeah. Awesome. So I'm just going to bring her on right now.
All right, cool.
Hello, Heather.
She just has to unmute. There she is.
There he is. I'll turn off my camera too. What the heck? I'm the one that said I'm getting in my jammies. I'm in my jammies.
Hey, you look good in your jammies.
Oh, thanks.
You got a little updo going there?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's good to see you. Now, this alone is a transition for you to be on here.
And in my jammies. Yep.
And in your jammies, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know how many times you watch the show, but I keep telling people we got to get over what people are thinking about us. And the best way to get over what people are thinking about us is do something where you go, I don't give a shit what you think. So Heather's been texting me every day for 30 days. We had a chat 31 days ago. We had a couple of chats, but 31 days ago we had a conversation. And anyway, she sent me her daily text and I said, "Are you going to be watching the show?" She said, "Yeah." I said, "Well, cool." I said, why don't you come on? And it was interesting because you're kind of going, "Oh, I don't know about that." And anyway, so about 30 plus days ago, and I've known Heather for quite a while. We've talked a few times, and she was going through some challenges and some difficulties. And I'm not going to say too much, but suffice to say, I'll paraphrase this. I'm sitting around on my ass, and I'm not feeling good about myself, and I'm not feeling healthy, and it's affecting all kinds of areas of my life, and I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. Something like that. Is that close?
Yep.
Yeah. How would you say, where were you at 31 plus days ago? How are you doing? How are you feeling?
Just lost. Out of control with everything, from fitness to nutrition to sleep to being just in control of my schedule and consistency and routine and everything. Doug and I made a list. Well, Doug made me make a list, asked me to, where I bulleted a bunch of stuff and came up with like 37 things that I just needed to start to really dig into again, get back to.
Yeah. What was the question I asked you to write the answer? Do you remember?
The question? Well, I had to pick one thing I was going to focus on.
Yeah, but the 37 things, I think I asked you to just make a list of all the things in your life that you're not happy with.
What do you really want? What do you really want?
What do you really want? Yeah. And so, we focused on what I wanted, and Heather and I tease each other because she always, says, "I'm not doing that damn program thing that you do." So I used to run seminars, and that's how we met. Heather would come to seminars. She's friends with Jay, who was on the show last week. Jay used to come to seminars, and what I would do is if people wanted to work with me, then I took them through a program called Thinking and Results. And I still use that today. Anyway, I said, I'm not doing that damn program. I said, I didn't tell you to do the program. But clearly your way's not working. And so we talk and I said, like, what do you really, really want? And I remember the first few messages, like you were so resistant. And it wasn't you that was resistant. It was your own distortion and the distortion around you and the distortion inside you that was really causing resistance for you to even see or even entertain or even admit what you wanted, And I said to you, I just want to get you doing one thing. And I said, just pick one. And you picked three. I said, only one. And you argued back by text, no, I have to do the other two with them. I go, no, you don't. Just do one. So what did you start doing?
I started walking every day outside for minimum 30 minutes with a goal of 90 days.
Yeah.
And I wanted to do more.
Yeah.
But
so
that's it.
What started to happen early on?
It just I started to feel so much better. And other things started to fall into place. It's only been 30 days.
Right.
I want to add more in.
Right.
You keep telling me not to.
Yeah.
But 30 days has been huge. And from a mental health perspective, from a physical health perspective, from a mindset perspective, it's just been awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a little thing.
What's that?
And it's a little thing.
It's a little thing. Yeah. So one of the things I have people do right away, the first thing I'm going to do is I get them to form a simple habit they can start. A habit that they're interested in. And so, you like the outdoors and nature, and you like to get outside and to walk and all that stuff. So Heather's one of the one things out of the three she was insisting on. We got her to pick the one for walking. And what I wanted her to do is I wanted her to start forming a habit that would make her feel good. It'd make her feel good about herself that she did it. I remember getting texts about how good you were feeling that you did it, and then, within a few days and, 7 days, 10 days, you got this streak going. And so it made her feel good about herself. It made her, as she said, felt good physically, mentally. I mean, just outside walking in the fresh air. I mean, that, amongst nature, that's always good for you. And what happens is you're forming this positive vibration. So we operate in frequencies, and our physical body operates on a frequency, and there's a law of polarity, of negative or positive. You can't be both. And so the idea is to get onto the positive polarity and stay on that, get on as long as we can and stay on as long as we can. And the more that you operate from the positive polarity, this physical body is like a magnet, and you start to magnetize good to you, magnetize good thoughts, magnetize people, now you got your friends walking with you, and just more and more good comes. And that's this mindset piece, really understanding how our mind and our thinking. So how has your thinking changed in 30 days? Like, think about what you were thinking about and what you're thinking about now.
Oh, it's a total 360 from the negative, I can't, and the fear of even just attempting to start something, to just a positive, energetic, motivated, engaged. Yeah.
I love getting your pictures because, man, oh man, you have this beautiful, bright energy on your face from the walk, and it's just so good to see. All right, so there's lots of people that are freaking stuck in a rut like you were. Before we have you hop off, I take some more questions. What do you want to tell them?
Doug knows what he's talking about. But it's easy. It's so easy to think that you can't do something. It's so easy to be afraid of taking that first step, and thinking that it's so huge. But then when you really get going and feel the momentum and form a habit, it's incredible how quickly that can change, how easy it can become, and how you can just want to keep on going, level up.
Well, yeah, I'm just getting started with you too. We're going to level up. Yeah. Well, listen, I appreciate you coming. You look good in your jammies.
Thanks.
With your hair up 30 days later. You look great before, but I'm really proud of you. It's so fun to get the messages. And so today was day 30. Heather sent me a text. Guess what? She sends me a picture of her trip from her Fitbit or whatever it is and how long she went. And she marked up day 30. So congratulations.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks for coming on. All right, Tyson, that was fun.
That was lots of fun. Thank you very much, Heather, for coming on the show and being that brave. That's awesome.
Yeah, well, that's good. Do you have any questions in the comments, or we want to go to the question that was pre-submitted?
So we have a little comment in the chat that I kind of thought would be fun just to toss around. This is a comment just made right now. Do we need to call them negative feelings? Can we just call them feelings? Is there anything you wanted to talk about that?
No, I think that's a great viewpoint. Yeah, totally. Yeah, just call them. That's like, I don't know. It's like calling clouds or just clouds. There's nimbus, there's cirrus cumulus. Can't remember. I only went to grade 9. I can't remember the cloud names, but anyway. No, I think that's a wonderful viewpoint. Yeah, they're just simply feelings. They're just emotions that you're having. The key is, not getting hung up in how they're making you feel. So you have to understand how thoughts, feelings, emotions, and the physical body all tie in together. And this is what we teach. When I'm working with people, the first thing we get you clear on is understanding how your thoughts create your feelings, and your feelings then set up the state or the vibration or how this physical body feels. And so the reason so many people are struggling with anxiety and depression and really, really struggling is because it's what they're thinking about, or it's what they're thinking others are thinking about them, like judgment and fear, criticism. It's killing people, right? And so people worry about what people are thinking. So it starts with what you're thinking. And if you're thinking about what other people are thinking, man, oh man, that'll literally drive you nuts. Those thoughts create feelings in our subconscious mind. So our thinking starts in our conscious, logical mind. We take in all information through our 5 senses. And that's we listen to the news, we hear the news, we see the news, we read the news, we listen to people talk. You're listening to me talk right now. I'm saying things, it's going in. And if you're not thinking, if you're not in control of your thinking, and you're not guarding your mind from what's coming in, then those thoughts automatically go to the subconscious, which is what the Greeks called your heart of hearts. That's your emotional mind. And it creates emotions. And then those manifest into physical feelings. We feel. And when you don't feel good, you think, what the hell's wrong with me? And then you get locked into this thinking, there must be something wrong because I don't feel good. And so that's just, I find, I've helped so many people break free from anxiety, depression, PTSD, all kinds of junk. Because now they understand how they can control the physical state that they're in. Now, it takes practice, it takes repetition, it takes time. You look at Heather, if you could have talked to her 30 days ago, man, oh man, it's a transformation already. And I didn't do it. I just gave her some instructions on what to do. She did it. I don't take any credit for Heather's transformation. It's all her. And I give her the credit for listening. That's what I give her credit for, and for doing the work, So, I love that. Just, feelings are just feelings. It's cool.
The catch-22 of negative thoughts. I like that comment.
Yeah.
Awesome. Okay. So we got another one. We're just going to take another question from the submitted.
Sure.
If you guys do have a question, just post it in the comment section, and we can pull it up on the screen, and Doug can answer it. Really easy.
And before we do that, we are having, I forgot to tell you, we are having a sharing contest. So share if you care. I forgot to tell you what it is. So if you share the show tonight, if you already shared it, or share it right now, or if you're watching the replay and just share it, then we're going to have a little contest for all the people that share it. And I will do a private one-on-one coaching session with you to help you with your challenges, your goals, wherever you need help, like I did with Heather. And also send you a gift certificate to Audible so you can grab yourself a good book that will help you. So hit the share button right now. And if you have shared, type in 1 if you've shared already the show. Just type a 1 and let us know if you've already done that. And we will keep track of all the shares. And then I'm looking forward to talking to the winner. So, all right, Tyson, what's the question?
Awesome. So the question is from.
No, wait
Deborah.
a second.
Oh,
wait a minute.
Okay.
Did you share? If you're listening, did you guys share? If you care, share. All right, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, cool. Deborah from Australia. I'm just going to bring it up on the screen. I've had a hard time with my daughter. I just can't seem to get her on the right track and listen to me. Ooh, I'm excited.
Ooh. Yeah, Tyson, I'm going to answer that one, don't you?
Yep.
Well, Deborah, it's not your daughter that's on the wrong track. You're on the wrong track. Now, I don't know the situation, obviously. But I can tell you, I talk to a lot of parents about their kids. and the struggles they're facing trying to get their kid on the right track. I don't think that's the way to approach it. I think I remember a book I talk about all the time. It's called Hold On to Your Kids. Gordon Neufeld, he's a Canadian author, he's a psychologist. He testified in a case, a murder case. There was a young girl, Rena Verk, in Surrey, British Columbia. Hey, Roxanne. And she was bullied by her schoolmates, and ultimately they beat her and they killed her. And so he was a psychologist, and I think he testified for the Crown in the case. Anyway, he wrote a book following going through that case, and it was called Hold On to Your Kids. And the whole book was about this issue of what he called peer orientation, is that young people are so oriented towards their peers. And literally you got peers parenting young people. In Rena's case, she was East Indian, I think. And so there's some strong cultural, pulls on her in the way that she's supposed to live. And she was trying to pull away from that strong cultural influence that I guess, I don't know the story, but I presume it probably didn't really resonate with her. There was probably some distortion for her. It didn't fit for her. And anyway, the whole premise of the book was that if you don't stay in relationship with your kid, you're going to lose them to their peers, and their peers are going to parent them, and the peers don't give a shit about them. And that's a recipe for real disaster. So, Rena fell out of relationship with her family, and she was following her peers. And he gives an analogy in the book. He says that in the absence of a mother goose, baby goslings will follow anything. They'll follow a dog, they'll follow a human. And so what you need to do is you need to stay in a relationship with your kid. And so rather than saying your kid's on the wrong track, or rather than thinking about what's wrong with your kid or what's wrong with what they're doing, but you really got to take an honest look. You got to look in the mirror, number one, and think, okay, what have I told them? You got to take responsibility for any of the mental junk that you picked up when you were being parented and how you handed that off. Now, don't take on the blame and the shame and put yourself into a hole. Just be objective and unemotional, and just take what I call do a blameless autopsy on where you're at with your kid. And your job is, just like I said earlier, just figure out who your kid is and help them become that person. And just like I said earlier as well, talk to your kid like an adult and get into relationship with your kid. And that alone, they'll come to you. They'll follow you. They won't follow you all the time. Okay. And you got to let them find their own way and make their own mistakes and fall down and scrape their knees and get in trouble, make decisions that are bad. That's how they learn. You got to let them do that. I don't care how old they are. And just get into a relationship with your kid. And if you're in a relationship with your kid, ultimately they'll still come back to you because they know you are the one place and the one person they can absolutely trust. And that's what you want to build. Relationship will build trust.
Boom. That's a bomb. I love that. And also, I quickly wanted to say all the people that shared, I just want to put them on the screen really quickly so I can show you.
All right.
So Craig shared. Awesome.
There you go. Yes.
Emily shared.
Good.
And then, sorry if I mispronounced this, Toria? Yeah. And then Roxanne just had a quick question about doesn't know how to share on YouTube, but she shared last week.
All right.
But
isn't there a button right when you're watching? I'm looking here.
I wanted to address that.
Hey?
Yeah, I wanted to address. Yeah, there's a little button at the bottom. If you're looking at the screen, and it should be right in the bottom right corner of it.
Yeah. Like I've got a little, you see that? I got a little X on my phone to see all the chat. So I think if you close that, close the chat box, little arrow, and then the share. I don't know if you can see that. The share button shows up.
Oh,
right there.
Right there.
There you go.
Yeah.
Roxana, I'm here to give you technical support.
Okay,
all right, Tyson, what else?
I thought it'd be fun to bring on Aaron to say the last question.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
Hey. All right.
Hey.
So this is from, and I thought 3 ways: Steven, Stefan, or Stefan.
Okay.
One of those is correct. From Florida, sunny Florida. He says, it seems so many of my friends are struggling with things. They're good people, but they're really having a hard time dealing with anxiety and depression.
Yeah. Well, listen, I'm going to probably presume that Stefan's, or Steven or Stefan. I'm going to presume they're probably a young person, but they don't have to be a young person. What I'm really passionate about is working with young people to get rid of all this bullshit and crap now so they don't grow up to be an adult like me who was struggling. So I really struggled when I was young. And then I grew into an adult that was really struggling. And then I had a daughter. I thought, all right, I better get this sorted out once and for all. And so I also like working with adults, of course, that are struggling, because if I can help get you sorted out and really clear up this distortion you've got about who you are and who you're not, and what you're, capable of doing, and get rid of all the reasons why you can't do something, then you'll stop struggling. And then what you do is you start leading by example. Sometimes the young people in your life, like the baby gosling, they'll just start to follow you by example. I often say you're not responsible for young people, but you are responsible to them to demonstrate and model behavior that influences them, inspires them, motivates them to want to do the same. So, Stefan, I think, for you, I don't know the basis of your question, but like I said earlier, the problem is there's so many people that are struggling with anxiety, depression. Everybody's talking about it, and it just keeps getting perpetual. Like I'm kind of done talking about it in the context that we don't need to keep bringing awareness to mental health. I think we're all fairly aware that people are struggling. We don't need to. That's not what we need to do. What we need to do is do something about it. And again, like I said earlier, I think very few people really truly understand anxiety and depression, the cause of it. So it's really quite simple. Okay. So if I've got negative thoughts going to mind, so common negative thoughts are fear and doubt and worry. Okay. I'm worried about my future. I'm doubtful things are going to get better. I'm worried that this is going to happen, or that's going to happen, or this person's going to do that. Hell, 80% of the worries that we have never even materialize. Okay. And so you got fear, doubt, and worry operating in your conscious mind. You're thinking about fear, doubt, and worry. And so what that does then is that translates into a negative physical emotion. And when we have these negative emotions, the way we've been brought up and conditioned through society and our parenting was to suppress it. And so, don't talk about your problems. Don't share them. If you got to share them, go to therapy and go to a counselor. Do it in secret. Don't admit to the neighbors, what your problems are. I remember as a kid, all the secrets we kept inside that house that I grew up in. And so we suppress the thoughts and we suppress the feelings, and we hold in that. And what that's doing is you're suppressing energy. Okay. Everything is energy. Energy flows to and through us. And it's your thought that converts the energy from either negative to positive. It's your thought that then translates your emotions to negative or positive. And if you hold in that energy and you suppress it, you start to feel physically, you feel anxious, and you move into an anxious state. Your stomach starts to hurt. You perspire, your skin flares up. You can see all these physical symptoms of the suppression of the thoughts and the feelings, and it turns into a state of anxiety, which then transfers and moves into what we call depression. And that's how it gets caused. And so what I think you should do, Stefan, is if you could start to understand, what's really going on here, and I'd love to help you, you will start to see that you can take control of your thoughts and your feelings and your physical state. And so ultimately you go from thoughts to feelings, suppression, anxiety, depression, dis-ease, and then disintegration. They talk a lot about most cancers are killing us because of this suppressed emotion, suppressed energy. And that's why I'm doing this show, trying to get people to talk. I love what I said earlier, like, let's talk is great. All right. It's great to talk about this and express it. But if you don't really understand what's going on, then what you do is you have a problem. For me, it was called the Eeyore Years. Hi, it's me, poor me. And I would talk out my problems, but I didn't understand the cause. And when I understood the cause, then I was able to take control. So that's what we got to go after. We got to talk. We also have to go after the cause. And the cause is what you're thinking. And you have to understand the other root cause is what you were programmed to believe about you and the way that you think. And that's this virus code that's running you. And that's a big cause and a big problem for a lot of people.
Awesome, Doug. I love that. I love the whole software, hardware analogy that you keep saying about, because I found it so easy to understand using that analogy, right?
Yeah, totally.
Really cool question just came in from Michael Fox. And I'm just going to bring it up onto the show right now. So, hey, Doug, sitting here with my 14-year-old son. He just asked, should I be concerned about what his teacher says about him? He wants to hear your opinion. Awesome.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Listen, the job of your teachers is to pass on information that they're required to pass on to you based on what the school system deems is right for you and right for your future and right for your education. School is a great thing because it can form good habits. It can form good habits of focus and discipline. And as you move, into the later years and you finish high school, planning your day, structuring your day, staying on time, developing habits of listening and things like that. So school's good for that. Okay. But your teachers have a job to do. Don't forget, your teachers have a job to do, and they have to get out of them and out of the book and into you what they're supposed to do. So you got to cut teachers a bit of a break here because they have a job to do and they have to do their job. You'll love this. I'm not sure what your name is, but my mentor, Bob Proctor, he said, I think teachers should be on commission. He says, I think teachers should be paid for performance. The teachers that really get the great marks, help kids get great marks, those are the ones that should be well compensated, not the ones that have been there the longest or have the most education, but the people that get the best results. There's a great thing you should watch. Actually, your dad can pull it up on YouTube. Go to YouTube and search the Pygmalion effect. Pygmalion, Pygmalion effect. It was positioned based on a movie, My Fair Lady, that came from a play, Pygmalion. And the Pygmalion effect, this Rosenthal and a couple other professors from Harvard, they did this study. And I'd watch it. And the study they did is they took a number of young kids and they went to teachers and said, listen, we've got these young kids and they're showing incredible promise. And we've chosen you to teach them. Now, I'm just paraphrasing the video. It's been a number of years since I watched it. The teachers thought that they were special, that they were handpicked. And they thought that the kids were special and showing all this promise. Well, none of that was true at all. But the teachers treated the kids differently, and therefore they performed differently. And so this idea of the way people view us determines how we perform. And then our performance is viewed by others, and they judge us based on our performance, which then dictates how we perform. And you go around and around and around and around. It's a never-ending cycle. And it's like a hamster wheel. You'll never get off. And so do not care what your teachers think about you. If you start that habit, man, you are in trouble for a long time in your life. Somebody asked me the other day, they said, Doug, how you doing? I said, you know what? I'm at the best place I've ever been in my life. And they said, why is that? And I said, I'm the farthest away I've ever been from worrying or wondering what people are thinking about me. And it's a global pandemic, this notion of judgment. And your parents judge. I mean, your dad, he judges people. He judges himself. He just learned that. He watched his parents do it. His parents did it to other people. Parents did it to him. He learned to do it. And so it's a habit that we pick up, and you just have to make a decision that you're not going to do that anymore. So I would just, if you want the best from your teachers, like I said earlier, get in relationship with your teacher. Sit down with your teacher. Say, can I have a conversation with you? And talk to them like an adult. You'll shock them. You keep studying the stuff, your dad's a client. You keep studying the stuff your dad is studying. And you listen to what Bob teaches you about how your mind works. Man, oh man, you're going to have a wonderful life. That was a good one. Thanks for doing that.
Yeah, that was a super good one. I like what you said. I didn't think that's what you're going to say, honestly. You caught me off guard right off the bat.
Well, there you go. Tyson, we got to keep you on your feet. Well, I guess we should wrap up here, huh?
Yes. Just before we do, I just want to give a congratulations to someone in the chat who just shared something fantastic.
Okay.
Andy. So this was at 8:45, and he's like, such great advice. And since I stopped engaging with my mom's negativity in the last 6 months, he's been fantastic, breaking paradigms. And cool. What I want to do is give a round of applause. Everyone in the chat, just give it a round of applause to him.
Way to go, Andy. I think Andy, that might be a she, maybe. Could be a she.
Could be a she? Yeah.
Could be a he or she. You never. I like Aaron, your approach. Stefan, love that. We got to cover all the bases, right?
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's the stuff I want to see. Those are things. And listen, share with us, if you've had a revelation, if we've caused a turning point for you, send me a message, send me an email. You can go to my website and you can contact me there. You can find me on Facebook. You can put a comment, on the show here on YouTube, whatever you want to do. So listen, before we go and wrap up here, we got a couple minutes. If you're watching on YouTube, whether you're watching live or watch the replay, hit that subscribe button if you want to get notified to watch the show every week. We're here every Thursday at 8:00. Like I said, if you share if you care, click the share button now before we wrap up. And again, if you're watching the replay, share it with a hashtag, and do the hashtag Ask Doug Dane. This whole show is about coming on and asking questions, whether you submit them in advance or come on like you've done here tonight, or put them in the comments. It's all about, I wanted to be accessible and use my experience and the wisdom I've accumulated over the years in my own struggles and experiences, and also working with a lot of different people. And so hit the share button, hashtag Ask Doug Dane. Again, we're gonna have a little contest. Whoever shares, we're gonna have a little draw, and we'll give away a private coaching session with me, and I'll help you, and an Audible book. And I'll recommend actually a book after we talk, the right book for you. Don't be going out there and buying all these stupid shelf help books. They might make you feel good temporarily, but you might be going totally in the wrong direction. And if you want to level up and you want to break free, and you want to work with me, go to my website, dougdane.com. There's a button called Work with Doug. And I'm always looking for people that want to make their move. So you can do that and go there. So Tyson, I want to thank you and Aaron. Next week, I was just talking to our guest next week. Melissa's coming on. Man, oh man, you're going to love this lady, Tyson. She's just amazing. I'm playing with the title of the show. My talk today, I said the original title I had for the show was around moms and parenting, and it was titled originally "Superheroes Can't Fly." I think parents and moms are superheroes, but they don't have wings, and well, maybe some of them are angels. But she's going to come on, and she's just an amazing, remarkable young lady. And when I met her, she had some crap that she believed that was really holding her back. And anyway, I'm just so thrilled to have her on next week. And you'll meet her. Just be here. You're going to love her story. It's all about managing, mothering, and parenting, and homeschooling, and COVID, and building a business, and building yourself up to live the way you want to live. So I'm excited about next week too. So thanks again, Tyson. Thanks again, Aaron.